Welcome back. As the Florida school shooting intensifies the gun debate in our country, the CBS 11 I-Team now exposes a major problem with gun laws supported by both sides of the debate.
I-Team investigator Brian New joins us with why this law is not being enforced. Brian?
Yeah, Gilma, federal law prohibits domestic abusers who are subject to a protective order from having a gun. But the I-Team found efforts here in North Texas to have those abusers surrender their weapons have all but failed, often leaving those who sought protection, who warned about potential threats, in the crosshairs of their abusers.
By day, she worked at the Dallas County Courthouse as an advocate, helping domestic violence victims. By night,
I lived that double life.
Kathleen Storm secretly was the one in need of help.
I would go home and be part of that same problem. I didn't speak up.
But then one day, after 25 years of abuse, Storm found the courage to call her husband at work. She told him she was leaving, but before she made it out the door,
I turned around, he's standing in the living room.
her husband made it home first.
All I remember is turning my back and saying, just please leave. I'll be out of your life in 5 minutes.
Her husband then shot her twice in the back of the head, then turned the gun on himself.
Next thing I know, I woke up in the hospital 10 days later out of the coma, and my family had to tell me the story of what had happened that night.
Storm shares her story and hopes other victims don't delay. But the I-Team found when some did seek help in the form of a protection order, the system failed.
Hey! Come here!
In February 2013, a court issued a protective order on Tyrone Allen. By law, he was no longer allowed to own a gun. 2 months later, he shot his girlfriend, killing her and her unborn baby. It happened again in September 2016. Rodolfo Vargas should have surrendered his guns when the court slapped him with a protection order. Less than 2 months later, Vargas shot and killed his estranged wife as she was taking her daughter to school. The most devastating example of an abuser who should not have owned guns took place this past November in Sutherland Springs. Not only did the Air Force fail to submit Devin Kelly's criminal history that would have barred him from buying guns, but a 2015 protection order against Kelly should have also forced him to surrender the weapons he already owned. Kelly legally should not have had any guns when he walked into the First Baptist Church and killed 26 people.
I know there's all these groups out there saying we need stricter gun laws. We got great gun laws. We need to start enforcing those gun laws.
In 2015, Dallas County launched a gun surrender program.
Do you own any firearms?
The way it's supposed to work is when a judge issues a protection order, that judge also orders the abuser to turn in their guns. By now, county officials had expected to have collected more than 2,000 firearms. But nearly 3 years into the program, only 101 guns have been surrendered.
Frustrated?
That's not a bad word, I mean, to use, because I think that's getting close to where I'm at.
Judge Roberto Cañas, who started the program, says the problem is, with the exception of a handful of judges, almost no one is making sure guns are turned in. In places like El Paso, where gun surrender programs have worked, every judge, when issuing a protective order, is required to ask about guns. And so are police officers when called out to a domestic violence incident. Seattle has a gun removal task force. Police officers there are assigned to follow up on gun surrender orders in person, something Dallas officers rarely do.
It needs to be second nature in domestic violence cases to be concerned and asking about guns.
These are my morning, mid-morning, afternoon, and evening medications that I take.
As a result of her brain injury, Kathleen Storm takes more than 30 medications a day.
This is my entire life, but it is keeping me alive.
Looking back, Storm says, had she known a judge would have told her ex-husband to turn in his guns,
If they would have just taken them away from him,
her life would be different, because she would have gotten protection when she needed it the most.
Now, in recent months, we've seen the Dallas County District Attorney's Office do more in making sure their prosecutors are asking about guns in domestic violence cases. We have not yet heard whether the Dallas Police Department will also be making any changes.
This is a hard reality to accept for a lot of people, Brian, but I got to ask you, what keeps someone from lying to either a police officer or a judge about whether they have these guns or not?
Well, the fact is nothing. You know, here in Texas, there is no database which lists whether you or I have a gun, but while there will always be some loopholes, those we talked with believe that if you simply can get the judges to tell those who have protective orders that they need to turn in their guns, Ken Gilma, most believe that a lot of them will do that.
Yeah, all right. Brian New, thank you very much for that. Very eye-opening, to say the least.
Great work. Thank you, Brian. And if you have a tip or question for our I-Team, they're just an email away. You can email them at iteam@ktvt.com.